I was sprawled on the couch, staring at the ceiling when my phone buzzed. Lena had told me she was working late again tonight, the same excuse she'd used for the past 3 Thursdays. I tried to push down the knot in my stomach. She worked at a busy design firm. Overtime wasn't unusual. Yet something about her tone this evening, too casual, too rehearsed, made my gut tighten. The first message that popped up wasn't from her. It was from her coworker, Darren. I almost deleted it without opening it, telling myself I had no right to pry. But curiosity, or perhaps something darker, won. "Hey Mark, sorry. I just meant to text Lena about tonight. Didn't realize you were on the thread. About dinner, she said she'd meet me at her place. Thought you should know." My thumb froze. Dinner? At her place? This hour? I blinked at the screen, feeling my heart skip and then slam back against my ribcage. I paced the small apartment, phone clutched in my hand. My mind raced, trying to rationalize. Maybe it was a client dinner? Maybe Darren was mistaken. My brain flailed for plausible explanations, but my gut screamed a warning I couldn't ignore. Another text came, this one from Lena herself. "Sorry babe, work ran late. Catch up tomorrow." Her message was calm, practiced, like she knew I'd see Darren's message first. My chest tightened. "Tomorrow," she said. Tomorrow, like she'd never come home tonight. I grabbed my coat, slipping into the streets under the glow of streetlights, following the address Darren had accidentally revealed. Every step felt heavier than the last, my stomach twisting into knots that threatened to undo me. When I arrived, I saw her through the frosted glass, laughing, leaning into Darren, his arm casually around her shoulder. My vision blurred, a mix of disbelief and fury clouding my mind. I hadn't expected this. Not tonight, not like this. Pounded on the door. The laughter stopped instantly. Lena turned, her face flushing as she caught sight of me. Darren froze mid-step, guilt flashing across his features. "Mark," she said, voice trembling. This isn't what it looks like." "It looks exactly like what it is," I said, my voice lower than I felt. Rage, hurt, confusion, all mixed together into a raw, unmanageable cocktail. Lena stepped forward, but I held up my hand. "Don't. Just don't." Darren cleared his throat awkwardly. I didn't mean for you to see me." "Save it," I snapped. "I don't want to hear your excuses." I turned back to Lena, searching her face for the woman I thought I knew. I wanted to see remorse, fear, guilt, but instead there was hesitation, a flicker of defiance I hadn't expected. "It's not like you think," she whispered. Mark, I needed to feel wanted." The words hit me like a hammer. Not lies exactly, but twisted, jagged pieces of truth that cut deeper than any outright deception. She had a right to want, to feel, to live, but she had promised me her loyalty. Every late night, every cancelled plan, every whispered excuse, it had all been building toward this moment. I backed up against the wall, my hands shaking. "And you thought lying was the way to handle it?" She looked down, unable to meet my eyes. "I didn't lie," she said softly. "I just didn't tell you everything." The phrase, "didn't tell you everything," will haunt me forever. It carries with it the weight of betrayal, of trust broken quietly, layer by layer. "I need to think," I said finally, my voice tight. I turned and walked back to my car, each step a mixture of dread and relief. Relief because now I knew. Dread because the truth had arrived in the worst possible way. That night, I drove without destination, letting the city lights streak past like distant memories of what we'd shared. I thought about our apartment, the dinners we'd cooked together, the nights we'd stayed up talking about everything and nothing. All of it now tainted by this revelation. The next morning Lena called. I let it go to voicemail. The messages piled up, each one more desperate than the last. "Mark, please. I can explain. Don't do this. We can fix it. I made a mistake. Love you. Please just listen." Each message made the betrayal sharper, the loss more tangible. And yet, buried beneath the fury, A small, stubborn part of me still wanted to hear her reasoning, wanted to believe she hadn't destroyed everything. I replayed Darren's text over and over in my mind. She said she'd meet me at her place. Those words were like a punch that never fully landed but kept hitting again and again. Finally, I texted her back. We need to talk. At the apartment. Now. When she arrived, the air between us was heavy with unspoken words. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I just held up my phone, showing her the text from Darren. Her face paled. Mark. Explain, I said, my voice tight but steady. Everything. Don't leave anything out. She swallowed, hands trembling. It started after. I don't know. Work was overwhelming. Darren, he's been there listening, supporting. And you thought hiding it was okay? I interrupted. You thought pretending to be at work while meeting him would be fine? Tears rolled down her cheeks. I didn't think. I didn't know how to stop it. I shook my head. You've destroyed the foundation of what we had. Trust doesn't come back from a text accidentally sent to me. The room was silent except for her quiet sobs and the ticking of the clock. That night, the betrayal didn't feel like a single event. It felt like an accumulation of moments, small lies, unspoken desires, and quiet departures from honesty that finally erupted into the truth. Hours later, after she left, I sat on the couch, staring at my phone. The city outside continued its indifferent hum, unaware of the fracture inside my world. I realized then that betrayal isn't always loud. Sometimes it arrives gently, through a misdirected text, through laughter not meant for you, through moments that could have been prevented if trust had been nurtured instead of taken for granted. I didn't know what the future held. Maybe we could rebuild. Maybe we couldn't. But for the first time in weeks, clarity had arrived. Not the messy blur of suspicion, but the stark, unyielding truth. The person I thought I knew had chosen another path, and I had to decide whether to follow her or walk away. Chose to walk.